The American ambassador has come out and described what amounts to war crimes in Ambazonia. Yesterday, actually not yesterday, but I took time yesterday and read a lot of the papers. And this was published, I think June 7. No, published June 8. International visits pay off for British business. Okay. Significant deals secured. This being reported by the British Embassy in Yaoundé. Significant deals secured by UK company to deliver natural gas projects in Cameroon. Following Trade Minister Baroness Fairhead's meeting with Minister Secretary General Ferdinand Ngongo, London-based oil and gas company New Age and the Cameroon government have agreed to a deal which will see the development of a floating natural gas project in Cameroon utilizing the offshore Etinge gas fields. The project is of huge importance to the African country, who will be able to ramp up their gas export operations, in turn generating a huge revenue stream for the public treasury, whilst also helping to develop offshore infrastructure in support of future local power generation. So that's just one. I've been reading on this. I want to read a few before we come and discuss whether the British government really needs to be doing government needed to be doing business with a government that is committing war crimes, and the ambassador of the United States has actually stated them out loudly. I'm going to read a few more. Cameroon has actually let me read one written by Mr. Billy Burton. Mr. Billy Burton actually titles his "Controversial Deal Adds New Dimension to Anglophone Crisis." British natural resources company New Age Africa Global Energy announces a natural gas deal worth over £1.5 billion in Cameroon today, sparking controversy over the situation in Southern Cameroons. The deal involves the development of the Etinde field located off the coast of Cameroon, with a floating liquid natural gas platform that was recently leased from Vantage Drilling. The rig is expected to be on station for at least 150 days and will involve international LNG/LPG carriers offshore and a gas export line to Limbe, a city in the contested southwest region of Cameroon. The British Embassy has stated that the project will create 350 skilled jobs, split between onshore and offshore. A former British colony, many residents of Southern Cameroon were looking to the British government for support during the current crisis. And so this latest development has been a highly controversial event. There has been a furious response to the deal, as the British government is now seen to be supporting the BI regime, despite documented human rights abuses and incidents in the same region. The deal also cast aspersions over the visit of the Minister for Africa, Harriet Barwin, earlier this year. It had been considered that the minister had been seeking to mediate in the Anglophone crisis. However, this now appears impossible. Instead, it appeared highly likely that the minister played some role in promoting the deal to her Cameroonian counterparts. New Age, I want to read, so this is now a little history about this New Age company. New Age Africa Global Energy has an interesting history that should also be considered when viewing this investment. New Age's backers, the U.S. hedge fund OCHZIF, were previously found guilty of paying more than $100 million in bribes to government officials in Chad, Niger, Libya, Guinea, and the Democratic Republic of Congo to secure natural resource deals. The hedge fund and its subsidiary were forced to pay a $2.2 million fine, to settle a record-keeping violation, and a further massive $413 million fine for related crimes and civil charges. This shady heritage raises serious questions about the validity of the New Age deal. Finally, while the recent military deployment to Southern Cameroons had only been considered in the context of the Anglophone crisis, it is clear that the New Age deal adds another dimension for the BI regime, with the security of the Limbe port being vital to the success of the project. This may result in further heavy military deployment to the region. The reaction of the deal has been marked by fury at the British government, which is seen to be stealing resources illegally from the independent state of Ambazonia, as opposed to assisting its former brethren to solve the Anglophone crisis. Threats have already been made towards the project from elements in the region, although there is an overriding sense of great disappointment, disillusionment, and hurt from local citizens. From an independent perspective, rarely has British policy in Africa appeared so callous in recent years. Citizens of the former British Southern Cameroons have been calling out to Britain for support for generations, but especially since the start of the current phase of the Anglophone crisis. Britain's silence and consequent agreement with the government of Cameroon speaks volumes as to its position on the Anglophone crisis. Questions will undoubtedly be raised in Parliament about the investment, but that will likely require the information and data of this project to have any impact. It is important to note that the UK government is under pressure to announce trade deals due to pressure surrounding Brexit. However, there is a distinct possibility that this announcement may backfire on them in the long run. Ultimately, today's announcement was a deep, unwelcome, wounding intrusion into the affairs of Ambazonia, and it would be logical to expect a response in some form in the coming days. This is written by Mr. Billy Burton. Give me your reaction.
Well, my reaction is simple. When during the Commonwealth meeting, Boris Johnson, and you know what he tweeted on Twitter?
Yes.
Okay, there was another report from the Library of Parliament by the British government.
House of Commons.
House of Commons.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody wrote that, and in that report, I mean, the people they don't even have the ability to go and do their own findings, because basically what I saw in that report was they were reporting what the American ambassador or the American government had said, what the French had said, what these people had said. They had no position. They had not done their own investigations, and to make matters worse, they call us secessionists, which tells me that the author of that report or the authors of the report did not even do their history, or they don't know what secession means.
No, he skipped the whole part. So he skipped the whole part about the British involvement in Southern Cameroon.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, that they don't know their history.
Yes.
So I'm putting all of that to say that it doesn't. Anybody who is going to sign deals in Ambazonia, you can go and sign. You can go and do whatever business you want in La Republic. Like we are saying, Shell has paid damages to the people in the Niger Delta, right? Anybody who is going to do business in that area of the world and is thinking that they are going to do business through La Republic, your investments are in jeopardy. I can guarantee you that your investments are in jeopardy, because those resources belong to us and not to La Republic. We are no longer part of La Republic. So any business you are doing with La Republic, it is at your own risk. We are telling you that we are going to defend ourselves and defend our resources, because those resources belong to us. So bring all the military that you have, bring everything that you have to come and deal that natural gas.
Now, I know you skip one important. Should the British, and just like you said about the Americans, should the British be doing business with people who commit war crimes?
Well, that is for, to me personally. If you ask me that question because it concerns me directly, somebody might say my answer is biased. Okay, so I won't come to it from that angle. But it is for the British citizens like Billy Burton that wrote that that article that he just wrote, raising his concerns. It is for the British public, because they are the ones who said they advocate for human rights, they advocate for this, they advocate for this, they advocate for democracy. It is up to the British public that invests in this company and the British government that is negotiating this company, for the British citizens to ask their government that represents them if that is the kind of government that they want to represent them. The government that goes and partners with the government that goes around, targets people, kill people, burn their houses, rape their children, deprive them of internet, and do all these horrible things that the International Convention Against Torture has reported on just recently, on some of the abuses, the lengthy detentions without access to the justice system that happens in the Republic. All of those things are things that the United Kingdom's government, the Queen of England, has said they don't promote those kind of things. And yet you go and sign treaties with the government that practices things like that. If I am answering the question that you've asked me, somebody might say I'm biased, like I said, but it is up to the British people. Because to me, what I know is that that company would not do business in Ambazonia.
Now, I want to go back to some history, okay? You know, it was the same British who said that Southern Cameroon was so broke that it cannot be a country of its own because it has no resources to support itself. And so took us, not that we have said that we need resources in order to survive, because we've been surviving for thousands of years, and we did not need the British come and tell us that, oh, you cannot survive because you don't have any resources.
No, but even the resources that have been there, we have never benefited from them.
I was going to come there. I was just saying that they said that we did not have any resources. And now there are resources that are worth more than 1.5 billion pounds. So you would think that the British will now sit back and look and say, you know what, we lied, or we acted in ignorance against these people. And now that they begin to put this question up again, I think we need to redress, we need to correct the mistakes that were made then. But I want to, before I add something else. Now, if and I'm making this statement because any African country that has resources, those resources have tended to invite violence and evil forces to come and destroy their lives. And so I'm going to ask you, if the people of Ambazonia have a choice to have their country back without resources, take all the resources and just give our country back, let's live with peace, you think they will take it?
No, the people are looking for freedom, they're not looking for resources. We are not fighting because we have never seen the benefits of those resources. All the oil that has been exploited from the Bakassi Peninsula, we have never seen the benefits. But we have lived and we have educated our children and done all of that without there has never been any investment in that part of the world. So it doesn't matter to us about those resources. But in as long as those resources are there, they are ours. We have restored our independence, and those resources are going to be used to develop our people, not for some British government and the Republic government to come in and begin to play powers over it. And so,
Ambazonia is in a war right now to defend our freedom. We are not defending resources, but like Roger said, those are blessings that were given to us by God, and I think we are going to defend them.